demonic angel, and welcome to my vlog here where I describe basically my psychic impressions and feelings, images that I've gotten at the old city jail of Mesa, Arizona. So it has been moved to, from the original location. So this is like stuff I know about it. And it was constructed and opened in the 1880s, and I believe it operated through the 1930s next to, like, at the time it was like where the courts and other legal businesses, buildings were. So it was moved to the current location of to become part of the museum. So it was like an extension, an add-on. So the museum is pretty big, and there's a bunch of different sections of themes, like you got your geology section and like dinosaurs, so natural history, right? But then there's like this little part of it where, because you pay to get entrance for the day to the museum, you can like pan for gold in this kind of fun way. They like teach people the methodology of it. That's a lot of fun. And then there's the jail. So it's the original, city jail, and it's connected to the museum now. I haven't been there in like 12 years, something like that, and I had been doing a lot of online homework. I did need a break, kind of, from writing, like a fresh set of eyes. I was just gonna kind of, whatever, I guess do a movie night, but then I heard we were going to go back. My husband's extended family's coming for a visit, so because of that, we're gonna end up going back to this museum for the day, kind of a deal, and go back. So when I did go, I found out I was going, I thought, gosh, I'd love to talk about my psychic impressions, but also talk about like this before I go back and try to film or take pictures. I don't remember if any of that is allowed, so I don't know. I am going to bring my camera, and if I could try to, I don't know, take cell phone, whatever. But of course, if it's just prohibited, I might not even be able to do it, but I'm going, so I thought I would talk about what it supposedly is haunted. I really never had looked into it or didn't know if anything about it, because it was at a time where I was new to that area when I lived there, and so it's kind of like didn't really know any kind of real history. Just like, oh, we're gonna go do something for the day, let's go to the museum. I like that kind of stuff, art, So anyway, when we went, I decided to, 12 years ago, I decided to do a psychic reading of the place, and I kind of was just trying to be open, through the museum. Now, the reason I decided to be open, even though I didn't really know anything about the extended history of it. Is it just museums kind of have that, there might be something there for lots of reasons, objects and, stuff like that. So I just wanted to see, what I could find out through my abilities. And I didn't really pick up on too much throughout the real main part of it at all. And really when I first got into the jail, because basically you just can walk around. I mean, I know they, I think they offer like, probably situations where I think you would probably pay extra for like a person to walk you around and like explain everything to you. But, we didn't do that. We're not going to do that this time. It was more like you're free range. Then I got part of the way through, and there's like cells on the sides, right? And I kind of came to this point where I think it was like a corner, and right at, in my vision, it was like this guy who was shaking. He's just like holding himself. He looks very dead. Early 30s, like blonde hair, and he's like, holding himself, holding his head a little bit, kind of mumbling, like, this is not, something I'm actually seeing, with my, like, physical eyes. But, just that he's, like, basically in agony. And right after that went through my mind, I smelled, a little bit, in actuality, the smell of urine. And you know what? I can't really explain. I mean, you can't explain, I'm sure scientifically, that dogs and cats and humans have different hormones and enzymes, so their urine's going to smell different, consequently. The difference in everybody's bacteria and things like that, but, human urine smells much different than, cat urine, dog urine. I think that's just maybe something you learn as you go through life. I don't really know. But it was like the smell of like, like if somebody pees, like a dude pees in the direct sun, like it's the middle of the hottest part of the day, and let's say they pee in the street, and you can just walk by and you can just smell the urine as it evaporates. That was like that, just that strong. And it was just like, oh my God, this guy, he, all scratched up, very grayish, hugging himself, and he has urinated on himself. And then, basically, I realized that somebody basically went a little bit crazy. So like I don't think there was so much too big of a reason here, but this guy just decided that he was going to beat this guy and like kill him, because he just wouldn't stop. And it's like I kind of had a hard time learning to understand visions like these. Around the time 12 years ago the gentleman ghost that I'm talking about who urinated on himself, I think that he was like a little bit mentally handicapped. emotionally handicapped, something like that, where he's a little behind, mentally in his age. And the guy who snapped, it was kind of like he's a waste of food. He's just, and I have to listen to him, and I have to look at him, and that just went through his mind. So I did have this understanding that there was starvation going on, and that it was very overcrowded at times. So sometimes there were so many inmates that they were standing like shoulder to shoulder, and like it was driving them insane. And so definitely I know of course there's a few suicides, but not verified. I just was kind of getting those impressions as well. But it's yeah, he just killed this guy. And it's I think that people do smell the urine a lot. I think people also smell the terrible body odor randomly, because this, I'm guessing, like in part because of the materials the jail is made of, that it's that high residual energy. So people are smelling urine, people are smelling the sweat, because this really imprinted this starvation overcrowding was going on, because it was like the food was stale, there was mold on bread, and again, just trying to not go insane from being that way. People looked really skinny anyway sometimes. Like, I don't know if that was because, they're starving in jail, or, just like, probably they were, something like homeless or something, whatever. The concept probably didn't apply back then, but, that just, that was a thing. So, a few spirits that kind of, I think, do linger on are more like shadows, and I don't think people really see the heads, so it's like maybe half, the height, because they move really fast. And part of the reason, besides the materials of the jail, the residual energy, part of the reason for that is that they're confused about, I think, the jail being moved. So it's kind of like, where am I? And trying to escape. So there's a couple of the spirits that they yell out to people. They yell, "Hey, help me." And I think that might be when people see these sort of peripheral shadows, or even, more like masses. You could maybe even say mist, but I really imagine much darker. I don't think many people see the actual guy who urinated all over himself in my vision. I think that people used to see more apparitions, but I think time and I mean, this is a popular place, so maybe some people have gone through and prayed and connected with some of those people who, wanted to move on. But then we have the sort of shadow aspects of some people. So it's and what I kind of mean by that is it's like it's not fully complete consciousness of like the identity of one, you know, human. It's more like a, you know, I don't know, more like a more infantile sort of mindset of the spirit of like, hey, help me. They kind of, you know, I think do that as the ego breaks down. It's just a thought. Anyway, this even includes, I think, people being followed by these shadows, just being startled, thinking that it's somebody, their friend behind them, and it's not. I think that the smells, and then there's like these weird breezes, and that's kind of these, you know, shadow guys who are, you know, kind of stuck a little bit. One guy, again, really who he's like a shadow now, he runs into the wall, not real sure what's wrong with him. He could be an alcoholic, because his just rage is really terrible, but he also seems like he has a real disregard for like pain, and just he's just nuts. So he, you know, sometimes he'll run through a couple of the cells and he'll bang his head or, you know, whatever, and he's doing this deliberately, so to me it looked like he had kind of a bloodier face, and I you know, I just think that I mean, obviously that might have been the way he died, like he just smashed his own head in, but I mean, that has to do with he just completely, you know, did not acknowledge me. He's really kind of trapped in that. But again, it's, you know, that is slowly dissipating as well, because I don't think anybody sees him anymore. So, you know, eventually he's going to be, you know, his energy will go completely elsewhere, right? Different dimension. But that's about it. So if I can, I will try to film inside this place. And I'll just say, hey, you know, this is the jail. That, you know, that really kind of, I'd say wraps it up about that. So I don't really think anybody sees anything. I don't really, really think that anything is too crazy, like it's not following people. It's really just, you know, people do hear the guy banging in his head into the wall. People hear banging, you know, the smells, the temperature, the wind, the voices really, you know, hey, help, and especially, you know, like that urine. It's a sad situation. I just hope people actually kind of continue to go there to, you know, pray in their own way, because I think the energy that's left is just kind of more stagnant, confused, dark, kind of just sad, you know, energy, and it's just, you know, the residual heaviness for the most part here. But of course, you know, when your shadow goes by or you hear your name called, that's a little bit frightening. So anyway, I'm going to try to, you know, get one more thing done here, I guess. So I will be emailing some of you back, because I'm going to get back into homework now. So, you know, and then hopefully I could post a video, but if I can't, you know, I'll just talk about it in some updated video and say, they said absolutely, no phones or recordings allowed. And then I'm going to, be a respectful guest. Otherwise, that'll be something to come up in the future. And then I'm just going to spend a couple days in my jammies doing some homework. So, and then back to, more cold stuff. But that's my impression. If anybody else has any similar experiences or that makes sense to you in some way, or you have anything interesting to say, please share it with the class. I'll try to get one more thing done here tonight. Let's see. Talk to y'all later.